Hello everyone, I am Berlin Kaur, Manager Test Prep. On behalf of SIEC, I welcome you all in this PTE workshop. Today we will going to learn what PTE is, in which countries PTE is acceptable, and what all you can do in order to get good score in PTE. So we have Mr. Gagandeep Singh, PTE representative from Pearson, and our expert trainer Dinkey, who will going to organize some activities so that you can get your scores. So let's go to Gagan sir's class.
For getting a final, for getting a PR in either in Canada or in UK or in Australia, you would require a good scores in your, as far as your language proficiency is concerned. So when it comes to Australia, it is clearly 79 points. For Canada, though we are not recognized right now for the migration purpose, but you still would require a 777, 8 band kind of a scores in IELTS, and then UK would again require a good language scores as far as your proficiency is concerned. So let's think you need to aim to get 79 in PTE. Now, what are the concerns that you're facing which is stopping you to get 79? What kind of challenges, what kind of questions, whatever the myths that you have heard of it, so that we can have some more discussion on it. Because you know PT, so I don't want you to waste some of your time that what is PT, what are the benefits in PT, which that you have already opted for it. What is stopping you to get 79 in PTE? After that, your trainer would definitely come and will give you some more detailed inputs about how you can address specific kind of questions, but in which sections you feel you are struggling. Repeat sentence. Detail lecture. Okay. So let's start from the beginning in the order wise. So is anybody who says read aloud is a concern? Sometimes. So what kind of concern sometimes you face in read aloud? Pronunciation. The words are kind of very new to you. You are not sure about it. Okay. So what exactly you do when you come across something which is not something new to you, which you have never heard about it or you never read about it? How do you pronounce such words? What exactly you try? Words. So what strategy do you follow? Are you aware about phonetics? Kadi sunaya word no? What is phonetics? Sounds pronounced on different letters. So what you need to do is have a bit understanding on phonetics. Whenever you come across some new words, break that word depending on the combination of the letters and pronounce the sounds that those letters would make it, and then try to speak that word. Now you get some practice time in read aloud. That's the time where you need to do these practices and pronounce such words 2 to 3 times in your mind, so that when the recording will start, you are able to record it appropriately in the best possible way. Now, another thing I have also observed, some students, they spend a little more time in pronouncing such words while recording it. They stop in between, they correct themselves, they start fumbling in between. Please don't do that. Give the best flow possible. Don't interrupt in between. Do not stop in between. Do not give incorrect pauses in between, because that will hamper your fluency scores. Make sense? Give the best possible shot. In case you come across a word which is something out of your league, you cannot give a try. That's a last option. You can skip that word. Definitely you're gonna lose some points as far as your content is concerned, but it is still better than rather than giving some incorrect pauses in between. Yeah? And I am assuming you are getting a very good scores as far as read aloud is concerned. How many points does a single read aloud carries? I believe 15. How much are you getting in a single read aloud? 10 or 11? Which is not sufficient even to get 65. That's what we normally tend to take mistake. I intentionally started with read aloud because I believe most of us think that it's such an easy question. What exactly ma'am can teach us? We know it pretty well. No, देख के पढ़ना ही था. but we actually have to improve our reading skills and speaking skills starting from read aloud. That's the very first thing that any speaking test should really have. Until the time you do not reach to a level of getting at least 13 or 14 points, if not 15, but at least 13 or 14 points, it means there is a lot to do. And certainly getting 65 means, because read aloud is the easiest possible question. If you do not get 13 or 14 in read aloud, aspiring for 65 looks very difficult. Correct, ma'am? So you need to really focus on your read aloud. Common mistakes done by some students when it comes to read aloud. One, they start speaking very fast. They're thinking that everything is in front of us, we can have the best possible pace, which is a wrong approach. Second, some of them start speaking very loudly. That is certainly not required. You're gonna have a mic next to your mouth, so speak as natural as you can, the way we speak over a phone. Yeah, I'm not really like right now the way I am speaking, because I need to address all of you, but the way we normally speak over a phone, assuming somebody on the other side, if listening to our voice, could able to understand what we are trying to communicate. And the way you are reading it should have some meaningful tones, so that the other person, without looking at the content, could able to understand what you're trying to convey. If you are able to convey that meaning, your read aloud scores will go pretty up. But if you're reading it for the sake of reading it, and ma'am has given you some tips that some pauses need to be taken, some words need to be stressed out, and you're doing it for the sake of mechanical reading, your scores will not come, into the best levels. Certainly those pauses, those stresses are important, but it has to come naturally, assuming someone could able to understand the real outcome of that read aloud. Yeah, and also to improve more of your read aloud, certainly when some of the words which are new to you, and in some instances when you are not really sure about the right pauses to be given, start listening to some kind of an audio files with transcripts and do a read aloud on that, so that you have a fair understanding where exactly the speaker has given the pauses. I should try to imitate the speaker in terms of the pauses, in terms of the tone, not the accent. Yeah, so that you have a better read aloud outcome. Yep. So what we are checking here in the test is, if a native user is listening to you, how would they perceive you? If they are able to understand your responses, they will give you good scores. If they are not able to understand your responses, they will give you less scores. Make sense? Okay, repeat sentence. Where is the problem in repeat sentence? You're not able to understand the audio file, or you forget what was being spoken in the audio file? You forgot. What strategy do you follow to remember the sentence?
Writing the initials of the
Writing the initials. All of you write the initials, or you follow different strategy?
I just listen.
You just listen and you speak. You writing initials or all words? Just the initials. Initials. Who writes the initials? Just raise your hands. Okay. Who just listen and speak? Anybody writes keywords? Okay. Anybody closes your eyes and while listening to the audio file? Yeah. Okay. Now, sorry. You were saying something? No. Now, when you try to speak, are you kind of missing out the first part of a sentence or the later part of a sentence?
later.
Now, what you need to do has a blended approach. Just listening may not be appropriate for many of us right now. Why? Because we are not very familiar with English. Now, if I would speak the same kind of a sentence in Punjabi or Hindi, I believe you are able to remember it for the whole day even. Why? Because you are very familiar with both these languages. And that's exactly we want to check in repeat sentence. We don't want to check your memory power, that are you able to remember sentences, but what we really want to check is how much are you familiar with English. The more you're familiar with English, the better you would able to remember the sentence. But yes, we are into that transition phase. We are learning the language. Certainly we have to use some of our memory power. Now what you need to do is, one of a possible exercises, close your eyes, listen to the sentence and write keywords towards the later part of the sentence, so that the first couple of words anyhow you are able to remember it, the later part of the sentence, those keywords help you to complete that sentence. Make sense? The another last important point here is, whatever you are able to remember, it doesn't matter, whatever you are able to remember. Now, you cannot add any right word in between. Speak your sentence in the best possible way. Don't try to think that I can, while speaking, I can think of a word which can be right and I can add to the response. Don't do that, because that will interrupt your fluency. That will certainly have your impact on your fluency, to an extent on your pronunciation, depending the kind of pauses, the kind of stretches that you're doing it on a word. So don't do that. And next time, if I'm assuming, if you have tried all the different strategies of attempting a repeat sentence, which is good, but if you have not done that, then I would say for the next 5 days, try with each of our strategies. So let's say coming Monday, I just listen to the sentence and speak it back. Second day, Tuesday, I'll make notes and speak back. Third day, I write first letter of the words and then speak. Fourth day, I close my eye and make a bit of a notes and then speak. And then analyze on which particular day your performance on repeat sentence came out to be better. If you have not tried all the 4 kind of strategies, you possibly have not explored the best possible way for you. Possibly what you have decided so far may came out to be the best, but we would not able to give a decision, we will not able to take a decision till the time we have not tried all 4. And once you see that, among the 4, this is the one where I would able to get a better score compared to the rest 3, then focusing more onto it. But now, talking about a long-term thing, how we can feel more comfortable the way we are getting comfortable in Punjabi and Hindi. Any idea, any thoughts? Why we are able to retain or remember a Punjabi or a Hindi sentence for a longer duration? What makes us more familiar with these 2 languages compared to in English? Use it in our daily life. Are you using English in your day-to-day life? How can you do that? What are the opportunities where you can use English in your day-to-day life? By reading books, okay, 1. Giving interviews, 2. What else?
Communicate with your friends in English.
Best option. Identify some of your friends with whom you can communicate in English, may not with all. What else? What are the channels of those communication? Because I'm not really sure whether you are able to see each other every day towards your friends. Social media platforms?
Calls.
Over the phone, okay. TED Talks, listening TED Talks, absolutely yes. Very important. Okay, there are 4 skills of a language: speaking, reading, writing, listening. Which is the most important first skill to improve, according to you? Do you think we can improve speaking without improving rest of the 3 skills? No. So which is the first one which you can improve quickly and have an impact on rest 3? How many says reading? Okay, how many says listening? Okay, so they are more for listening. Why listening? The answer is correct according to my understanding, but why listening? I'll give you one real-time example. You may have some of your cousins or niece or nephew at your places who may be at an age of 2 to 3 years. They speak the same kind of a language the way you speak at home. छोटा बच्चा बिल्कुल similar language बोल रहा है. How are they learning the same language? By just listening to you. So what happens is, the more you listen, your brain is getting trained, getting comfortable with the kind of a language that you are supposed to speak. Back of your mind, you're able to understand all the kind of tones, that's the music which is going in your mind and storing in your mind, and you're able to absorb that, and eventually you're able to produce it. Reading comes second. Now I'm able to understand some of the words. I have developed bit of a reading capabilities. I can still grasp many more new words. and speaking and writing are more productive skills. Whatever I have learned in my listening and reading skills, I'm able to produce well in my speaking and writing skills. So in order to improve your repeat sentence or retell lecture for that matter, start listening something in English wherever, whatever you feel more comfortable. I'm not really gonna say that go and watch a BBC news channel. It's a very good news channel, but that's not really maybe a piece of a cake for all of you. Somebody says TED Talks, a very good platform. You able to grasp a lot of content, but in English, but eventually you're listening in English, helps you to improve your listening skills. Or a lot of content is available on different platforms or different OTT platforms. Just go and watch. So the more you listen in English, the better you would have listening skills and eventually make your repeat sentence, retell lecture, summarize spoken text much more comfortable for you. Make sense? Yep. Retell lecture. Somebody says retell lecture is a concern. What is the challenge? Absorbing the lecture or not able to understand the lecture?
मतलब उसमें पूरी फ्लो में नहीं बोला तो बीच में अटक जाता है.
ओके, जब आप उसको सुनकर नोट्स बनाते हैं तो आप ऑर्डर वाइज नोट्स बनाते हैं, ठीक है? What exactly are you trying to, when you try to give your response, do you feel like I may try to speak to 35-40 seconds, अच्छे से लंबा सारा आंसर बोलूं? Is that okay? The maximum time given to all of you for speaking responses is 40 seconds, but it is not required. You are supposed to speak till 40th seconds or 35 seconds. You have to make a format of your response, which may include 5-line answer, an introduction, which we easily catch that, 3 important lines about the lecture, or for that matter as a describe image. What are the important 3 things I would like to get it covered in that lecture, whatever I am able to understand, and a conclusion. The 5-line answer. If you are able to complete these 5 lines even in 20-25 seconds, good enough. Don't stretch yourself. You may speak little less, but speak confidently so that your overall response has a better outcome. You are able to get good scores. Yeah, but I've seen sometimes we feel like I still feel I can add more content, there's a lot to do, and I'm just stretching it on in adding up incorrect pauses in between. Don't do that. That's certainly going to hamper your overall scores. Yeah. Yep. Answer short questions are easy ones, I believe. Writing. Any concerns in writing, or that's a cakewalk? No concerns. Reading.
Reorder. Reading, writing, blanks.
Reading, writing blanks, reorder. यही दो ही I think. MCQs. With single answer, with multiple answers.
Multiple choice.
Okay, so then I think we have to do a lot of things. I'm assuming when you come for your regular preparation classes, you must be carrying some notebooks every day. Yes or no? What is the purpose of that notebook? To make notes. Okay, what kind of notes do you make in that? Just for whatever the retail lecture and summarize spoken text. That's a rough purpose. You could have us borrow one A4 sheet the way you are carrying it right now and use it for a daily purpose and throw it away. Why you are carrying the heavy notebook every day? New words. Okay, how many words do you write every day? Yeah, how many words do you write every day? That's my question. Is it a regular practice, or sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't do it? So that's what I'm asking. How many words do you normally write every day, and what kind of words?
There are many changes, like beautiful, like
Synonyms. How many such words you write every day? That's my question. 20-25 words. And you have been taking training from past how many days? 30 days. So which means you have written about good 400-500 words. Is that? Bang on. But this is one very good exercise. All of you have to do it. I believe in reading tasks, there are many words where you tend to get confused because the meaning looks very similar, or there are many words where you are not sure about the meaning of the words. Start making notes every day. because reading, specifically in reading, writing fill up, there is no such shortcut. Definitely ma'am would have given you some inputs on grammar, understanding on vocabulary, which is important, but still there is a chunk, there are 2 or 3 such blanks where there is always a confusion, and that only can be moved away if you start making notes on those words, especially writing a comparison between one word and 2 words. Those words look synonyms, similar, but yet there is some difference in utilizing of those words. Till the time you do not make notes on it, you would not have a clarity or a grip on the utilization of those words. So which is important. Second, how many of you have an excess of academic collocations? Are you aware what is an academic collocation? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, which is absolutely okay. So an academic collocation says these are 2 words which are often used together, spoken together, but have separate meanings. Words like, let's say, overseas education, traffic light, government services, every word have a separate meaning but normally spoken together. So there is an official list available on our website. Please go through that, or even just go to Google and search PTE collocation list. You'll see one PDF file. Please download that, go through it. It's a good 40-page file which has about 2400 plus words. Just go through one page every day. Many of your fill-ups come from that collocation list. Number 1 benefit. Number 2, eventually these are good English words, maybe not very difficult, but something which are relevant. At least your vocabulary level is also getting improved. Okay? Number 3 comes out to be, after doing our grammar and vocabulary and a collocation, the last strategy which may work for you is called process of elimination. कभी सुना इसके बारे में? What is process of elimination? ही करते हैं, उसको eliminate कर सकते हैं. So in many instances जब हम fill-ups करते हैं, we come across, let's say reading fill-ups की बात करें, we come across 2 fill-ups अखीर में रह जाती हैं, 2 solve हो जाती, 2 रह जाती हैं, and 2 रह जाती हैं, उसके लिए 5 options left रहती हैं. उस 5 में से best 2 कौन से words use करने हैं? So at least there are 3 words which are totally irrelevant to the context. Even if you just simply do a quick reading with those words, you can simply eliminate them and then come out on a right word without knowing the right meaning of the right word. You're still able to identify the right words. Yeah. Now comes down to reorder paragraph. पहला सेंटेंस मिल जाता है? कोई है जिसको पहला सेंटेंस ढूंढने में मुश्किल है? No. Now if I ask you, what is a sub skill that we are checking in reorder paragraph? Let's say when it comes to fill-ups, we say grammar is important, vocabulary is important. What is important as far as reorder paragraph is concerned? Which part of English? Because for fill-ups we take some grammar classes, we try to improve our vocabulary in order to improve our scores in fill-ups, or similarly in other tasks. Which is a sub skill required in reorder paragraph? कभी पूछा नहीं मैम से कि मैम यहाँ पे हम चेक क्या कर रहे हैं? प्रॉपर मैनर में सेंटेंस जोड़ने हैं, बट व्हाट इज दैट टर्म कॉल्ड टू पुट? सॉरी, connectors. Okay, connectors is one. So utilization of connector, or how usage of connectors is important. Eventually what it leads to? Connectors हम I think essay writing में भी सीखते हैं. Yes. Eventually what is the purpose of connectors? Transforming from one line to another line. This is called coherence. So that the connecting lines have some meaning and there is some required order. जब हम essay भी लिखते हैं, उसके अंदर हमारा coherence अच्छा है, बुरा है, that's what I believe your trainer must be talking to you. Whether does that really make a sense? आप ऐसा तो नहीं, आप कभी आप नॉर्थ से शुरू कर रहे हो, बीच में ही साउथ में आ गए और फिर वेस्ट में चले गए हो, नहीं. There has to be a right order of flow. That's what coherence is all about, and that's what is required in reorder paragraph. So what you need to do is take some additional classes on coherence, or you simply go to Google, search something on coherence. Once you have a good understanding on your basics, what is really required, reorder becomes more easier. Now that's the basics. The second thing, how do I do it without taking any formal training? I believe that finding a first line is pretty easy by you looking at the connectors or the pronouns and all that. The moment I identify my first line, I start looking for some of the keywords in the first line and seeing where are they getting repeated in some form in the another lines. I start underlining it, making a match. Once I identify my second line, I start underlining some other words which are getting reflected in some other lines. I have to go step by step. I have to focus on my pairs. Only then I am able to identify my reorder paragraph. But the another most important thing when it comes to reading, how many of you start feeling tired or sleepy while solving reading tasks? And why does it happen? रीडिंग में ही ऐसा क्यों फील होता है? Makes sense, yeah, because it's a test. It's not a test of a topic given of your choice. What else? How many of you have good reading habits? घर पे जाकर कौन reading करता है? Anybody? So reading is more like a test match. A long innings but a boring inning, though it's in our test it's only a 30 minutes test. So what you need to do is whenever you go back to your places, start reading on the topic of your choice at least, so that your body should able to develop that kind of a stamina that you can remain active for 30 to 45 minutes while doing a reading tasks. Even if I would say I give you something as an easy and a topic of your choice and some tasks out of it, I can tell you after 20-25 minutes you still feel tired. Why? Because we don't have that kind of an appetite of reading it for 30-35 minutes continuously. वो appetite थोड़ा सा बनाना पड़ेगा. Now how you can do it? By following some of the important topics of your choice. So I think all of you, one common topic for all of you is like you all wanted to go abroad. You already have decided your destinations, correct? Now, can anybody tell me just 5 good reasons why you have chosen your destination? Why Australia, why Canada, why UK? I think a bare minimum 5 good reasons has to be there. You're going to spend your rest of your life in a given country. Can anybody give me those 5 lines?
Better living standards.
Why? But all these countries offering a better living standard.
My dad's so one, technically it's easier.
Which country are you planning?
I am choosing Australia, sir.
To Australia. It is easier in what context?
Sir, for a skill like mine, I'm not talking about skill.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Australia firstly accepts skill migration, as in they assess the skill.
Sure,
So that
but Canada also does have a skill category.
But then they have agencies who test your skills, and then positive and negative skills, the further process happens.
Sure, Hikaf, one good reason.
Yeah. And likewise, connecting to that, certainly if you don't have a specialized education in your skill, then also Australia considers you if you have a positive skill assessment based on your work experience. So that's the only factor. Right? And second reason, graduation position have equal weightage in Australia.
Okay, graduation, post-graduation equally weighted for the
There is no snow, there is no ice in Australia.
There is no?
There is no ice in Australia, no snow.
But that's okay. That's one part of it. But it has.
I've heard stories that it's depressing in other countries where there is snow for a longer period and people are.
But it's also known as it has red sand or red zone area.
I mean, I don't know, but
The central area is very warm also.
and I hear people not there is. I mean, there's snow in different months, but I hear stories from others.
Yeah, this is a pleasant time in Australia. Not warm.
So
Okay.
even in the winters also I've been there, so I think
It's not very cold like Canada.
It's very windy.
Yeah.
Wind snow, so wind winds.
So ठीक है. I bought that point.
Then I have assumed, according to what I hear from others, that it pays you more than the other countries. The
Period side.
Sorry?
Pay rate is high.
Pay rate is high, expenditures are also high.
And then lastly, sir, I don't know if I should say it or not, but there's everybody from everywhere. There's not like too much of Punjab or too much of South or too much of South. It's a very balanced country.
That's also one good way of looking at things. But yes, I'm happy at least you have your own thing. And when you are saying you have heard things from somebody, I would request all of you, all that information is available on internet. Please go back and start reading about it. Now the important thing is, this is a topic of your interest. You would tend to read it for more longer time. The topic is given in English. Eventually you're reading English or you're watching some same content in English. You're improving your language skills. So if I would say simply, go and watch an Harry Potter, with the word Harry Potter looks very fancy, but the moment you start watching that movie, and many of you may feel like it's above our head, the kind of a vocabulary, the kind of an accent that they use, not really our comfort zone right now. Eventually you may develop that, but at least something, when we are saying we need to go out of this place and start using English in our day-to-day life, these are the things which is easily available on your smart devices. Start using it. Yeah, please. So once you are able to improve your basic reading capabilities, your basic concerns, I can tell you, I believe many of the times when you had some kind of a discussion session with your trainers, and you may have made some kind of a mistakes in your questions, and when the trainer gives you inputs, okay, this question has to be attempted in a given way, and then you realize, okay, ये तो आता था, यहाँ पे गलती कैसे हो गई? Because you got tired while solving those questions, and that's the reason we make some silly mistakes. We should not do that. In order to improve it, we should improve our basic reading capabilities. Now coming on multiple choice questions, when it comes to multiple choice single answer and multiple answers, if you're very good in skimming, then you should mark at least 2 right answers. If you think skimming is a concern, you're going to take a longer time and you are able to quickly identify the keywords which is given in the question statement and matching a right answer which is based on scanning, just mark your 1 right answer and move next. Do not spend more than 1 minute in multiple choice questions. Simple as this. Yeah, but yes, in order to improve, you need to focus on skimming skills. Like for an example, हम summary writing करते हैं. Summary writing का जो हम summary gist लिखते हैं, if you know how to summarize it well, then skimming is easier for you. On the other hand side, I've seen some students, they simply copy some of the keywords, put them in a sentence and make an answer. That's not skimming. So because we are not trying to understand what the paragraph is really saying, that we're just copying some words. So if you are able to develop that kind of a skill where you can understand the paragraph and give a short summary to it while writing or while speaking, then you can develop your skimming skills better. Yeah, but otherwise, if you think skimming is a concern, you can follow just scanning wala thing and mark your 1 right answer and move next, because that question doesn't carry much weightage. The most, okay, if I ask you from a reading perspective, which are the most important questions to score well in reading skill?
Blanks.
Okay, both blanks. Reorder has a lesser weightage, but there are some other questions which has a higher weightage. I am asking reading as a skill, not reading as a module. I think you are all aware about integrated skill sets. There are questions where 2 skills are getting checked. Yes? Reading कौन से questions में check हो रही है apart from reading module? Speaking में कौन सा? Read aloud. Okay. Which other questions where reading is getting checked in rest of the test? Summarize, written text.
Dictation.
Dictation doesn't have reading. Highlight incorrect words. Highlight correct summary. Now there are 4 questions outside of the reading task and 5 questions within the reading module. Out of the 5, which 4 has maximum weightage in order to get your desired scores? Reading में 2 फिलअप्स तो हमने कर ली हैं, बाकी की 3 की weightage उतनी ज़्यादा नहीं है, तो out of the rest 4 which has a very good weightage? Read alouds. Is a good, but उससे एक level ऊपर I believe summary writing play an important role. So if you are able to focus on your, let's say, reading fill-ups, both categories, and just read alouds, these three questions itself can help you to achieve a bare minimum of 60 points. Bare minimum. I'm considering you still make some mistakes. In an ideal scenario, you're possibly able to get about 70-75 points out of these three questions only. So start investing your energies in these three questions more. So that's where again read aloud has a very important weightage. You should think about getting at least 14 or 15 points in read aloud, where we take it very leniently. Make sense? Okay, from a writing perspective, which are the most important questions? From a scoring perspective? Right from dictation. उसका कम है comparatively. Reading, writing, fill in the blanks. Number 2. Number 3 पे क्या आएगा? उससे ज़्यादा weightage summarize spoken text का है. And listening fill-ups and summarized written text almost similar है. So reading के अगर आप reading, writing fill-ups and dictation ही अच्छे से करके आ जाते हैं, आपके आराम से 45 नंबर तो इन दोनों में से ही आ जाने हैं. Maybe 50 तक भी जा सकते हैं. And then you do a good in summary, both summary writing and summary listening. You may end up getting 70. Listening fill-up may act as a bonus to you later on. कि इसमें तो आएंगे, अच्छे ही आएंगे. There are total 6 category of questions where writing is getting checked. Listening तो आसान है कि listening में दिक्कत है. Any other concerns apart from the module? Test center को लेकर, dates को लेकर, experience को लेकर. Any of you had given PT test by any chance? आप में से कभी किसी ने PT का टेस्ट दिया है पहले? When and where? 2019. किहड़ी सिटी दे विच? Chandigarh. But we have a test center at that time in Ludhiana also. Why you went to Chandigarh at that time? Any reasons? So that's one common statement floating in the market. Different centers have different feedbacks. There is no such correlation. You take your test anywhere in the world, the parameters of the test going to remain the same. The testing center experience is largely similar. Why I'm not saying same, because with an infra, a bit of a variation can be there. But as far as your assessment is concerned, is still going to be the same. Your scores are largely going to be the same. So my strong recommendation is Ludhiana have a center. That's the nearest place for you. But if you still wish to go to any other city, please do that. No such hassles. But yes, there are many students who are opting Chandigarh just because one of our center is in Elante too, so they prefer 2 घंटे का एग्जाम में शॉपिंग कर लेंगे. But that's your call. But yes, my strong recommendation is take a test which is near to your place so that you are able to save your energy, which can reflect in your performance. Financials are separate, ठीक है, पैसा भी बच रहा है. But yeah, couple of things from a registration perspective. While filling the form, some of you may not have a last name in your passport. So in the form, you have to put a dot in PT form if you do not have a last name. Yeah. Second, carry an original passport during the test. Third, speak normally and naturally. Do not speak loudly. In case if you're getting disturbed by somebody, some other student's voice, always raise a hand, ask the administrator, please come and request other student to reduce their volume. We can go and request, we cannot simply bash that student. So if they follow it, good. If they don't lose your concentration. I've seen students, because they feel like यार दूसरा बच्चा तो आवाज कम नहीं कर रहा है, now I can increase my volume. Don't do that. You are going to hamper your own scores. And the kind of an equipment provides to you. So let's say if we talk about the headphones and the mic has a noise cancellation. It will only record the voice which is nearest to the mic. So it will only record your voice, nobody else. So don't think that if I speak loud only it will catch my voice. No, if you do that, that will, whatever the disturbance you will gonna create it for other students, that's separate, but you are going to hamper your own scores. Yeah, and keep it towards your chin side. Do not keep it very close or far off. Your scores will be totally depend on the kind of a recordings you have done on that day. You may be very good speaker, let's say, but if you have not recorded your voice appropriately, your scores is certainly going to get hampered. Yeah, and don't, I would say, avoid YouTube videos. Even if you wanted to follow some, please check it with your trainers whether this video has some relevant content or not, because I've come across many YouTube videos which are so irrelevant. They are talking illogical things. आप ऐसे करोगे ये हो जाएगा, वैसे करोगे ये हो जाएगा. Don't follow that. If you really want to follow, we have our official website pearsonpt.com. All the important tips and strategies are given on the website. You can download it. Please go through that only. Do all the additional practices, whatever being given to you, whatever is available. But don't try any strategy which is not being given in the official resources, which will certainly not work for you. And it's a simple English test. We don't want to create a kind of a big thing, you know, you are doing and giving a PTE test. It's just an English test, a mere requirement for your visa applications. That's it. And focus on your linguistic skills. Just do not focus on preparing for PT again and again and practicing a test again and again. Whatever time you're investing here for your preparation, good. But when you step out of this place, start focusing on your language skills in your day-to-day life. Use WhatsApp, Facebook, Insta, your friends network, OTT platforms, whatever you have available. Use for English improvement. Simple as this. Any questions, any doubts? All clear?
I'm sorry I joined late.
That's okay.
Is it like, my target is 79, so is that an achievable target, sir?
90 each is also achievable in PT. So before you join late, so I asked the same question all to these candidates. So their aspiration was 65 to 73. So I still asked them, okay, they should keep an aspiration of 79 because eventually Australia PR would be the case, or similar kind of a scores they would require in other countries. And there are a lot of students who even got 90 each in PT. So if 79 is your requirement, your focus has to get 90. And
So realistic score, so it happens.
there are a lot of students who got 90 in PT and from SIC itself, ACCT itself. So, okay, we know that when it comes to any human rater for assessment, they would not give us full scores. Simple as this. So even if you go back to our school days in an essay writings, a teacher will first deduct our 1.5 points out of 10 and then start assessing. ये तो काटना ही, इसके बाद कुछ गलती होगी और काटेंगे. So computer assessment doesn't go this way. There is another reason also for that. You know, when it comes to an assessment in India, we think about the number of mistakes we have done, the numbers start keeping deducting. But on the other hand side, when it comes to for an international assessment, they want to see how much answer is your correct. How much are you able to convey your thoughts to us? If you're able to justify that, you will get a good scores. So yes, 90 is also a possibility. 90 each. Yeah.
And so also, what about the myth that even if you don't know what the topic, just speak?
That's what I'm saying. Don't follow such videos. You know, it's okay, simple as this. Why would why would a company make such kind of an application? One. Number two, assuming we've done that, why would an international university or authorities would accept us? They would have tried and tested. And this is not something as a new test which pop up right now. It's a 12 years old test, evolved over a period of time using artificial intelligence. So these are, so you, certainly yes. Now, you know, I really feel proud to say PT is the only company which provides a mock test. No other company provides an assessment in terms of a scored practice test, which we do that. So if you still feel you are not fully prepared or you wanted to give a try, you don't want to take a risk of 14,700 rupees, take a scored practice test, the assessment done by the same algorithm, use all these permutation combinations if you want to try at a lower price and see what really is the result, and accordingly take a final decision.
So that means, sir, we can have a mock test from the website itself.
Absolutely yes.
And we get an evaluation done for that.
Absolutely, by the same algorithm.
So there are charges for the mock test also?
Yes, true. So we have two provisions. One, if you go and buy a single test, that will cost you about 2,700 rupees. On the other hand side, there is a practice kit available, which you will get 4 such tests at a price of only 6,800 rupees.
1,600.
Yes. So, thinking in that way, less than a 50% cost of the test fee, you get 4 real chances to showcase your skills. Yeah.
So single test is for how much, sir?
2,700 rupees.
Set of 4 is for
68. So yes, even if you want to do it on a sharing basis with some of your friends, you can do that. So let's say you buy it, you've taken 1 or 2,
You
and
take it on your own computer and then you get a...
you got a login ID and password. You can do it anywhere using, certainly you would require a computer.
Just like a real test.
Yes, absolutely yes. The most important is the assessment algorithm, and it comes with a 1-year validity. Within 1 year, you want to try it 4 times, you can do that. So I would strongly recommend, please take those tests so that you are able to clear your real test in your first attempt. Simple as this. And the last thing, we give scores out of 90 points. So for every 0.5 band of analysis, our points are like somewhere about 7 to 8 points in PTE. So in case of PTE, if you're improving your mock test scores by 2 to 3 points every week, it means you are on a right track, you're putting up right efforts. If you're not seeing such kind of increment in your scores, you are probably practicing, coming here for practicing, but you're not improving your language skills, and that is the reason your scores are not getting improved. So every week you can keep a watch that am I on my right track or not. Any other thing? All clear? All the very best for your test. So I really appreciate you raise this point. So aiming 90 is a fair possibility if you really think and start preparing for it. And eventually, if you're able to score pretty high in your scores, your profile gets better, your chances of getting visas are getting brighter, and the team possibly can help you to get some good scholarships if your English scores are good. And you save a good amount of money, maybe about $10,000 to $20,000. I think that's a good amount of money if you get some scholarships in your tuition fees. But that's only possible if you're able to score well in your English tests. Yeah. Thank you very much. All the best. Now I'm handing it over to your trainer Dinkey. She will come and possibly give you some more exercises and some good, real-time inputs about how to attempt these different questions. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.